Joe's most recent killing spree brought Netflix's You to a close in season 5. Comparatively, far fewer people died this time around, since Joe found himself up against a league of women who were tired of being manipulated. In the end, it was Joe who was locked in a cage, one in a New York State prison. Still, this isn't to say that You's serial murderer didn't get a couple last-minute kills in. He had to be a bit more careful in season 5, but a few unfortunate souls were ultimately added to Joe's long list of victims. You season 5 picks up 3 years after the ending of season 4, when Joe married Kate Lockwood and resumed his true identity in the United States. During these years, Joe and Kate became something of a celebrity power couple. The Lockwood company had begun to shift to the good side as Kate attempted to make up for the evil she and her father had done. Of course, Kate's siblings and board members weren't too thrilled about these changes. With so much money at stake in You season 5, it wasn't long before the threats against Joe's family came rolling in. Naturally, something had to be done. 4. Buffalo Bob Kane. Bob was about to ruin Kate's reputation. Bob Kane in You season 5. Buffalo Bob Kane was a board member of the Lockwood Corporation and a seemingly steadfast supporter of Kate once she took over as CEO. Aside from Teddy, Bob was likely the person Kate trusted the most. He was always willing to state his opinion, but would back off when Kate ultimately decided to make a different choice. He was both an uncle and a friend to the Lockwood siblings. However, somewhat unsurprisingly, he turned out to be a bad egg. Early in You season 5, Kate got word of a hit piece that would reveal to the whole world some crimes she had committed in her father's name. This information would ruin her, and though Kate was reluctant to believe it, she eventually discovered that Bob was the one who leaked it to the press. Desperate to stop him, Kate gave Joe permission to murder Buffalo Bob Kane. You's serial murderer was only too happy to break into Bob's house, strangle the man, and make it look like a suicide. Reagan Lockwood Jacobs. Reagan found out the truth about Kate and Joe. Maddie holding Reagan's body in You season 5. Reagan was Kate's half-sister, and a pretty nasty piece of work. She served as the CFO for Lockwood Corporation and was famously enraged by the fact that her father had left the company to Kate. Reagan is all about blackmail and manipulation, and it is slowly revealed in You season 5 that she had been torturing her twin sister, Maddie, for years. Though Joe tolerated Reagan for Kate's sake, he could no longer stand by when the woman began targeting his son, Henry. After Bob's death in You season 5, Reagan immediately suspected that Kate had ordered the hit. She used Bob's death, as well as information about Joe's past crimes, to blackmail Kate into leaving Lockwood Corporation. Though Kate forbade Joe from hurting Reagan, he ignored these instructions and attempted to lock her in his cage, but he got the wrong twin. In the end, Joe locked both Reagan and Maddie up and forced one twin to kill the other. Though Maddie technically killed Reagan, it never would have happened if it weren't for You's Joe Goldberg. 2. Clayton Angevin. Clayton tricked Joe a little too well. Clayton in You season 5. Clayton was first introduced as Bronte's jerk of an ex-boyfriend. He was precisely the sort of person that we know Joe hates in You. Clayton was clearly possessive of Bronte, and he exercised control over her by publicly demeaning and belittling her. He is also immensely pretentious and a bit violent. It was clear from his first introduction in You, season 5, that Joe would eventually target Clayton. However, the twist was that this character wasn't who he or Bronte said he was. As it turns out, Clayton was the son of Dr. Nikki Angevin, the psychologist who went down for Beck's murder back in You season 1. Through some internet sleuthing, Clayton had come to the correct conclusion that Joe Goldberg had murdered Beck, and he and some other vigilantes hatched a plan to take him down. Clayton had only pretended to be Bronte's ex-boyfriend to set Joe up. Unfortunately, their plan worked a little too well. Joe ended up murdering Clayton on a TikTok live for the whole world to see. Dane tried to hurt Bronte. Dane in You season 5. After the world saw Joe murder Clayton in You season 5, it wasn't long before the story of Bronte's catfishing experiment went public. The internet began to take sides. Some people thought Bronte was a hero for what she did, while others took Joe's side and determined that Bronte was a wicked seductress. The latter type of people were mostly misogynistic men, one of whom, Dane, took it upon himself to kidnap Bronte as punishment for what she did to Joe. Joe wasn't too thrilled to have Dane's support. He stopped the man from kidnapping Bronte and locked him in his cage in Mooney's basement. Initially, Joe left it up to Bronte whether Dane would live or die. She decided to set him free in Season 5, but Joe later went behind her back, found Dane on the street, and quickly murdered him. What he didn't know was that this would be his last big murder before he was taken off to prison.